Conference this season remains to be seen.
A Western Conference that feels like it's going to be even deeper than what we saw last season, as Milwaukee, formerly the 33rd overall pick in the draft, young man who left high school early to play in the G League. Beautiful backdoor cut.
The first time we've seen that during this Luka Doncic version of the Mavericks over the last 6 years.
Luka's still not quite ready to play as Robbins hits a pretty little baseline jumper in front of the Dallas bench.
Shot opportunities in the mid-range. Gary Trent Jr. on display with his mid-range game.
Taurean Prince able to knock it away, and then Trent all the way to the rack. Grant, everyone talked last year of the defensive drop-off after Milwaukee made the trades before last year. There's that three-point stroke from Irving, and the rebound pulled by Robbins underneath. Early stages, Johnson, the beautiful drop-off inside to Smith.
They've struggled because they haven't had their star guys available. So managing their injuries and keeping them fresh and healthy throughout the season is going to be the challenge for Milwaukee.
Boy, Gafford, he really excelled last year playing with some of the quarterbacks that both teams still struggling from the field. Milwaukee now 5 of 17, and Dallas is 5 of 14. Irving pulls another 3, and Doc wants a timeout.
You talked about Dallas last year. I mean, it was almost brilliant in terms of how they changed their personality. They went from an offensive team to really a great defensive team. As Lively scores, did a great job against Jason Tatum in the finals. So, I mean, he is up for the challenge.
Boy, beautiful looking setup that time. Connaughton's numbers, his production down a little bit last year. Guy who's been a good outside shooter for this team. Can he get back to what he was prior to last year? Kyrie Irving, good looking start.
So good last season in clutch time. Two guys that can just break you down and get a bucket.
Boy, Connaughton likes the two-man game. Gets it right back to Pasechnis, who's got a chance at 3. Grant coming off the bench. Here's DeLon Wright, another one of the new pieces for Doc Rivers. Taurean Prince last year as a Laker, and he buries a 3. But Doc legitimately feels really good about this group as Irving knifes into the paint. Boy, he is in regular season form. The NBA player has changed, all the challenges involved as a coach.
Well, for clarification purposes, I'm not as old as Doc. But yes, he's been around. Beautiful pass once again from Connaughton.
Connaughton has been quite the playmaker so far tonight. Jackson couldn't squeeze it. Little two-man action. Pasechnis fading away. How about the offensive polish to his game in this first half?
A nice touch from the big fella right there at the short clock.
So Pasechnis is now 5 for 6 as he's into double digits. Hardy, little backdoor cut. They're going to reset. Thompson.
The best team from start to finish last year, but relying so heavily on Luka Doncic and, of course, Kyrie Irving and the starters, I think it wore them out. Keeping this team hungry. You know, you had a great year. You exceeded expectations. You got to the finals. You know, you still haven't done what you...
He feels really good about the potential of this team.
As he should. Great deflection hands there. And Gary Trent Jr. out in transition.
That's some of the defense that we touched on. Some of their new pieces. Grimes, one of their new pieces. Not only the offensive ability that they bring, but they can defend. All plus defenders as Lively hits a little turnaround. Here comes Trent. Clean strip by Irving. Grimes off to the races. Thompson, splash. And Dallas starting to ratchet up its defense. Ahead of the pack, here comes Lively, the trailer. Klay Thompson able to bother that shot just enough. This is Grimes knifing in. He's going to reset. Off balance corner. Thompson. And you add him to this mix as Klay runs the break and gets it to P.J. Washington. And Dallas has scored 16 unanswered. Connaughton into the paint.
but he told me they were struggling on offense. The turnovers they were having were creating points for Dallas. He said play did get going offensively, which was great. He was happy with their defense considering what's happening, but they need to really work on their offense.
He said that Kyrie would play 3 quarters, and he is on the bench here, but he had a fantastic first half. Klay Thompson not in the lineup either, so.
And that's one thing the doc is going to be thinking about every single night. How does he maintain their health? And it's one thing to keep them healthy during the regular season.
And giving these guys, maybe 1 or 2 of these guys will get a chance to, as Smith knocks down a jump shot, but get a chance to get consistent minutes.
Grimes off a loose ball to the cup. Gafford on a putback, and he's headed to the free throw line.
And he shot 78% from the field after the trade. I mean, his shot efficiency went up 26% during that span.
Well, this game has been blown wide open by Dallas. They got a 14-point lead. Boy, pretty little stroke. Liam Robbins fills it up from deep. Preseason was never too intense for you, though, right? He's a superstar.
You know, one of the changes from back in the day.
Former late first-round pick of the Sacramento Kings last year. Marjon Beauchamp, his feet underneath. Look at Lively coming over. Open 3. Grew up in Fresno. He played high school in the Los Angeles area. He actually committed to Texas to play college basketball, then decommitted and decided to go to Australia to play professionally last year. Rollins last year splitting his time between Washington and Milwaukee, has his pocket picked. Marshall.
And looking for a bounce back here, but I love that. The intentional connections off the floor truly carry over onto the floor. And Lillard, the leader, taking a role in establishing those off-the-court connections. And, of course, as you said, the injury there at the inopportune time. Both he and Giannis were hurt in that first round.
Powell had a hand on it and then rips it away from Jackson. Dwight Powell now the longest tenured man of this Mavericks team. Williams.
Look, OKC emerged. You know, will another team emerge? You know, can New Orleans? I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to be a top team, but no one thought OKC this time last year. I think all these teams are going to be so competitive, and it's going to come down to the last couple.
Oh my goodness! Prosper coming with some serious heat.
Building off of the success of last year, the Pacers, high-powered offense.
Look at Prosper.
But I'd say probably New York got the better end of that deal, I think. But then also Philadelphia. You know, what are they going to? They got Paul George and obviously Embiid.
As we are inside of 6 minutes. Transition 3. This team can potentially become as they try to take the next step. This is Robbins' little hesitation maneuver. Young man at 7'5", manning the middle now for the Mavericks. Rollins, boy, pretty handle, goes between the legs and shows off that. This is Gortman, shadowed by Rollins. Underneath to Sharp. Here comes Umude, and a nice poke away that time. Clean strip. Ignites the break at the other end, and Dallas has it all working. Jason Kidd, Doc Rivers, a couple old friends. As they both go their separate ways into a new NBA season.